Daniel Harris was 38, tall with dark brown hair that had begun to gray at the temples, a sign of the long hours he had poured into building his construction company. He wasn't born into wealth. He grew up in a small two-bedroom apartment with hardworking parents who barely made ends meet. Through grit and determination, Daniel turned his small renovation side business into one of the most respected firms in the city. Money was no longer a worry. What he craved now was something he couldn't buy: love and respect from his wife. Clara Harris, 35, was stunning. She had piercing green eyes and golden blonde hair that she kept perfectly styled, no matter the cost. When Daniel met her in his late 20s, she seemed like a dream: charming, supportive, and deeply affectionate. In those early years, she would cook his meals, cheer for his small victories, and talk about building a future together. But marriage changed Clara. As Daniel's business grew, so did her appetite for luxury. She stopped working, spent her days shopping, and eventually began treating her husband more like an ATM than a partner. Daniel tolerated the coldness, convincing himself she was just stressed or unhappy. But one night, while he leaned in to kiss her, Clara pushed him away. Her voice was sharp, almost disgusted. "No intimacy, Daniel. Handle it yourself." He stared at her, shocked. Those words cut deeper than any insult. That night, lying awake in their king-sized bed, Daniel realized he had been giving his all to someone who no longer cared. By sunrise, he had made up his mind. The next morning, while Clara scrolled through her phone at the breakfast table in her silk robe, Daniel set down her coffee. His voice was calm, steady. "No money from today. Earn it yourself." She froze. "What are you talking about?" "You told me to handle my needs myself," he said, locking eyes with her. "Fine. From now on, you handle yours, financially." Clara laughed, expecting him to fold as he always did. "Don't be ridiculous. I don't work. Who's going to pay for this house? For me." "Earn it yourself," Daniel repeated. For the first time in their marriage, Clara realized he wasn't bluffing. Within days, her credit cards were canceled. Her salon called, demanding overdue payments. Bills, previously handled by Daniel, were now in her name. The boutique deliveries stopped, and her glamorous lifestyle started collapsing around her. She tried to fight back. "You're humiliating me. What will people think if they see me working?" Daniel didn't flinch. "They'll think the same thing they thought when you humiliated me, that you're selfish, that you don't care. Respect isn't free, Clara." Her pride shattered. She applied for jobs, stumbling through interviews with no experience, no skills, and nothing to show but a hollow resume. The woman who once looked down on ordinary people now realized she wasn't even capable of living like them. Meanwhile, Daniel thrived. Freed from her demands, he reconnected with old friends, hit the gym, and found joy in small things again. At a business networking event, he met Amelia Torres, a 33-year-old marketing consultant. Amelia was intelligent, hardworking, and carried herself with warmth. Unlike Clara, she asked about his dreams, not his wallet. Conversations with Amelia lit a spark Daniel hadn't felt in years. When Clara discovered Daniel had been spending time with Amelia, fear set in. One evening, she broke down in tears. "Please, Daniel, I'll change. I'll be the wife you deserve. Just don't leave me." Daniel's eyes were steady, his voice calm but firm. "Clara, I begged for your love for years. You gave me nothing but rejection. You don't want me. You want the lifestyle. I deserve better." The final blow came weeks later in court. Clara walked in, dressed in her most expensive outfit, expecting Daniel to at least keep her financially tied to him. But as the judge read the financial statements, Clara's jaw dropped. Daniel had moved most of his assets into a trust under his sister's name. Legally, Clara was entitled to almost nothing. The judge's gavel hit the desk. Divorce granted. Clara walked out of the courtroom pale, realizing she had lost everything: the money, the lifestyle, and the man who once adored her. Daniel, however, walked out lighter, smiling as Amelia waited for him outside. For the first time in years, he felt free. And Clara? She finally understood the cost of taking love for granted, because respect, once lost, can never be bought back.